And welcome into episode 43 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name is Todd Emanuele. I have a very special guest joining me this week. Been excited for this one since we set it up last week. Steve Powell is here. Steve, thank you so much for coming on with me today.
I am excited to be here, man. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I know you're super thrilled that I post this on YouTube too. I guess you didn't know that.
I probably, I didn't do my homework, I don't think.
So yeah, millions and millions and tens of people will see this on YouTube. Tens.
Well, it's not the
Tens.
first time for me.
No, I love it. So anyway, thank you for coming on. I know you're a busy guy, but you're a passionate. You have many passions, and we're going to talk about all of those passions
Oh, wow.
here
That
tonight.
could be dangerous.
Yeah, we only have 40 minutes, and it goes by really fast. So let me start with this. You are one of the admins of the Facebook group, the Avetts Facebook group, Rejects in the Attic.
Yep, that's true.
How did that whole thing come about, and what's your role on there? I know,
Sure.
but other people
So,
may not.
probably 2015, it was probably actually, I don't know if it was like the end of 2014, maybe,
Yeah.
but there was a kind of a lot of people separated from an old group that was around. And a couple, I think a girl, she's no longer in our group, but she started Rejects in its infancy.
Hmm.
And I think she just didn't have the time or didn't really want to do it anymore. And it was kind of like it was going to fold. And I said, I'll do it. And I kind of jumped in. I think at the time there was like maybe under 30 people
In the whole group.
in the group. Yeah. I think Gantz was already in there because, it's Gantz.
Well,
And
yeah, he had to be the first one, right?
he was not in the back of the line on that one.
Yeah, no,
And
definitely not.
so yeah, I took over, and of course, I first was like, "Oh, I'm going to need help with this," and not to mention you need multiple voices because you need that kind of checks and balances.
Sure.
You don't want one person playing Oz.
Yeah,
So
I
the
get that.
wizard. And so yeah, I reached out to Michael. Of course, he jumped on because his heart's as big as anything. And
Yeah.
then we said, well, we got to get some other people. So we got Todd Neal. A lot of people know Todd. Todd's not longer in the group, but he's still really active. He was down in New Orleans. He's a great guy. And then he's like, I really don't have time, after a while. So we like, well, we'll bring in, I think we brought in Jocelyn and Kim as well to have that male female kind of,
Hmm.
you know, cohesion there for us. And then when Todd dropped, we asked Michelle Little to step. And then we've used Tim Mossberger, of course, as like our kind of historian.
Well, definitely.
So when
Yeah,
we talk
he's
about
the
the
go-to.
BS, he can kind of tell us we're wrong.
Yeah, and he does, and we all appreciate it though when he does
Oh,
that.
Tim's amazing. Yeah,
And no
we all
one,
know Tim's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, no one doubts anything that he says. He could tell us anything. That must be right because Tim told us. What a way to be like. I mean, he's just never wrong. I don't
So,
know if my wife
but
agrees.
then it just grew. It just started growing and growing, and word of mouth at the shows. I think early on, Jonathan Rogers, who's not in the group anymore, he made us some shirts
Yeah.
way back, and some of those are still floating around. And so people would see them and be like, "What's that?" Like, "Oh, we're not some gated community," but at the same time, we didn't make it open to everyone because we didn't want a bunch of yahoos jumping in and
Right.
that weren't serious about the music at the time and what we were trying to do.
It's
So
the best group I've ever been a part of on Facebook. Just the quality of the people in there, and everyone, the like-mindedness, is that a word? Like everyone's
yeah,
that
I think
I've come
everybody shares
across,
the same.
we all share the same, well, the love of the band, obviously, but
Right.
it's such a family. It's crazy. I've only been involved for a couple of years, but you guys have been going on for a long time.
Yeah, we'll be 9 years
Yeah,
now.
that's
Seems
that's awesome.
crazy.
Now you mentioned
But
making shirts, and I know you guys just did another fundraiser thing. Tell
yeah,
me about that and how much money you actually raised for a great cause.
yeah, and well, so this last one we did almost $2,200. We've used Press on Fund mainly.
Yeah.
We've done the World Kitchen once. We did an advocate for we did the one shirt fundraiser back in the summer, early summer, late spring for the LGBT
Hmm.
community. We did I think we did an anti-bullying one time. We've done a couple things, but press on, of course, is kind of Avett related,
Sure.
tied in. But we are talking about maybe our next one in the spring, maybe doing something else just to kind of bring a little bit more awareness about our group and stuff. And still doing something to support press on though, you know.
Sure, sure. Can you tell us what you guys are thinking, or is that just a secret?
Well, I think Michelle Little's got a group in mind, and she hasn't really put that together, so I don't want to speak over her, but
No.
I'm sure we'll get that out soon.
Yeah, yeah.
People,
So
I can't think.
$2,200 just from selling some
I
shirts.
think that we figured it up, and I know I'm not going to quote the exact number, but I think just on like apparel, we've done something like 15 grand
Over the
to
9 years.
charities.
Well, how many
Yeah.
years have you done the fundraisers? Has it been right from the beginning, or
No, just a
no?
couple years.
Just a couple of
Really,
years?
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Before that, it was more like, hey, somebody's in trouble, let's all chip in. Somebody
Which,
needs something, let's all chip in. And we've done that numerous times
yeah, I
behind the
that a
scenes.
lot, and it's amazing what.
You know, we bought groceries, we bought,
Yeah,
it just, and it's one of those things you don't want to say no. But when you get 3,000 people in a group, we kind of had to make a subgroup for that. You know, rejects give back is what it's called. Somebody runs that. I mean, Kim Silvis does that, and with some other people. But so we try to. It's kind of anything with like a nonprofit. You kind of want to just kind of weigh it out, make sure it's legit, of course, and do the right thing because we're giving in the Avett name,
right.
So
It's
yeah,
just such a great group of people. That's all I
it
can.
really is,
By
man. It's
great,
amazing.
and the people that are a part of it and are active are just they're great people.
It's literally like a family. I
It
know it's
is.
so cliche,
I
and
I
it's
say
hard to
it all the
explain.
time on here, but it is a
It's hard to
family.
explain to people. Like, my wife, God love her, she supports my Avettness, I guess, and
Is she a fan?
she is, but not to the level near that I am. I mean,
Well,
she's
no.
early on. She went to a lot of shows with me, but I think she was just trying to impress me or something, back then. I'm not real sure, but she'll still go, but she won't do like a multi-day run or
Oh yeah.
something.
My wife just doesn't get it yet. She hasn't even looked
Yeah,
into
it's
listening to
okay.
music.
I mean, it's kind of like just a different taste in music.
I think she'd like the
Yeah.
music if she actually gave it a shot. She thinks I'm crazy with
Well,
all
I
the,
mean, yeah, like
but
one of my favorite songs that I gave you is like one of her favorite songs. So,
well, that helps.
but
That helps.
but yeah, there's some like she doesn't get the whole like my little boy says, the bok bok chicken music. He says
I love that. I love it.
she's a city girl. She's from the heart of Louisville. I can't say
Yeah.
Louisville. I have to say Louisville. So
Why do you have to say Louisville?
because apparently that's the way you're supposed to
I
say
thought
it.
it was Louisville.
Well, we grew up everywhere. It's Louisville, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
but if you live there, it's Louisville apparently. So
Really? I did not know that. See, I'm a
yeah,
northern boy. I'm central New
yeah.
York, born in.
Well, she married an Irish hillbilly, so it's kind of like
Oh, that's funny. So you live in Kentucky. You're from Kentucky, right?
yeah. I'm born and raised here. Yeah,
Born and raised.
I literally live about 20 minutes from where I grew up.
That's cool.
Um, so I'm right outside of Lexington, where the university is.
Sure.
And stuff.
Did you
So
go to
I
university?
went to
Or
UK. Yep.
that explains your ravenous fandom.
Yeah. Well, we don't have pro teams here in the state.
Right.
So it's like I know you're in New York, so college sports, besides outside of Syracuse, is probably not as big, of course, it is in the South.
No,
You know,
definitely not. Yeah, the
yeah.
Northeast.
So
I mean, no, college sports are big. Like SU basketball up here is huge, but
sure,
the
sure.
football team, I mean, my gosh, they've
Well, I mean, yeah, I can't speak too much on our football either, but
well,
ups and downs. But yeah, so it's like a thing you're born into. So I was there too during the Patino heyday. So
sure.
the '96 team, and
96 team that rings a bell. That was you guys beat Syracuse in the national championship.
yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't
That
want to,
was
but
that was
yeah,
a heartbreaker.
yeah, that was in the
But
Meadowland.
I
Yeah,
can tell you, remembering going back to that game,
Derek Coleman.
Syracuse had no chance from the get go. I mean,
That was
Kentucky was
well, that
starting five
'96 team was
NBA
one of the
players
greatest
in
teams
that
ever
game.
put together. Yeah,
Yeah, that was five NBA guys we were going against. We had no shot, and I think we only lost by like 8 points, which felt.
yeah, it was pretty close. Yeah,
But and I just
but
think
yeah, so
today,
this area is just it's all is basketball.
right? Oh,
So
sure. Oh, and SEC football down there. I know Kentucky,
yeah,
not you know, I don't
well,
want to say
we're a
you're right.
middle of the pack
Yeah,
SEC
that's
team. Yeah.
definitely not Syracuse football where we are right now. Yeesh. Syracuse kind of fallen off the map in football, and NIL has so much to do with it.
It really does.
We
Yeah,
just
in the
can't.
South, it's crazy, man.
We just can't get players to come
It
play.
literally is a religion down here. I
Yeah,
mean, it is.
yeah.
So I encourage anyone that is a fan, they should make that, kind of road trip to some of these places.
Yeah.
So
So, anyway, yeah. Thanks for bringing up 1996. Now you just made me.
I didn't think about it as soon as I said it, but yeah,
Yeah,
I was there too.
that's cool. That's cool. It just made me think back to 1987 when Syracuse lost to Indiana in the championship game, and I just saw the
Yeah,
news that Bobby Knight passed away today.
I
Uh,
saw that just about
yeah,
30 minutes ago. I
yeah,
saw that. Yeah.
just came out a little while ago that he died,
Yeah.
83 years old. And man, I villainized Bobby Knight for so many years. I was 11 years old when they lost that game by one
Listen,
point.
I'm in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
He is the
uh,
ultimate. He was the ultimate.
yeah.
I guess I don't want to say evil because that's a bad word, but he was the ultimate kind of nemesis.
Sure. But
Before Coach K.
and after, yeah, right. And after, Bob Knight turned into a television commentator, like his color commentary on basketball, he was great at that. And I really ended up liking him a lot because he was so good at that. And so, he knew what he was talking about, and he just said what he was thinking and what he knew, and it was great.
Yeah, he definitely didn't have a filter. That's probably
Which was entertaining, but he was good at the same time. He knew
unlike Walton, right? Where you're just like, what is going
oh
on?
gosh, he just goes on rambling tangents. Yeah, not my favorite.
Yes. Well, sports and
Anyway,
music, they're a big part of my life. And
sure.
I was I played a lot of competitive soccer and high school and college soccer referee.
Really? And not your
Yeah,
son's a soccer coach now, right?
he is. He's a varsity coach, and then the little one's playing too. So
That's cool.
yeah,
That you must be proud of your
it's fun to
oldest son.
kind of relive it.
Yeah.
So
Now, is he close to you where you get
yeah,
to go watch
yeah.
the games and stuff?
He lives in Lexington, and then he coaches in about 30 minutes away. So
Oh, it's great. So you go to all the games, I'm sure then.
I
Or
try.
when you
Yeah,
can at least.
yeah.
That
We
is
try.
pretty cool.
Well,
So
we are actually considering a move. We're looking at the Charleston area, South Carolina. So
really,
yeah, just try something different. So
how far away is Charleston from where you are?
probably 8 hours.
Okay, so it's a long
Yeah,
ways.
it's weird where I live. It's great for concerts because we draw in Lexington and Louisville, and but but we're literally Lexington is like 5.5 hours from Chicago, Atlanta, St. Louis, Pittsburgh,
Yeah, that's
Columbus,
crazy.
Cleveland.
People
So you
don't
can
think
kind of
about
go
that stuff.
anywhere,
Right. Yeah, you're
Memphis.
not that far from all those main places. So
Yeah.
you don't have pro sports teams, but they're all around you.
Oh yeah. 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 This is a big Bengal country, which, you know,
You're a Steelers fan, right? I see your hat.
diehard Steelers fan. Yeah.
So that's how far is Pittsburgh from you? It's about 5 hours.
6 hours, five and a half,
6 hours.
6 hours. Yeah. My son actually went up today for the game tomorrow.
Oh, no kidding. He didn't invite you to go with him, or
It was him
he
and
knew
his
you were doing
fiance.
this, right?
Yeah, yeah. I had this pressing, I was like, nope.
Got to go on the Avetts and beyond.
Well, yeah.
We're trying to get the show back up to number 1, so we're gonna have you on here this week, and we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
we're gonna talk about
Go
this
for
after. We got a little giveaway.
I love that you made me follow, Colleen Hoover and then Liz.
But yeah, I mean, Colleen, she's kind of
I told you she's anyone. You bump anyone for her. That's cool.
yeah, Colleen's great.
Liz
What's
too. I
funny
mean, Liz has got golly the
was
show
that?
she's seen. I mean, all the shows that Liz has seen. I mean, wow.
Oh my gosh, 128. How many Avid show? Let's go back to the Avid brothers. We haven't really even talked about them yet, other than
Okay. Yeah.
the rejects. How many shows have you been to?
Believe it or not, I'm under 60.
Okay.
I'm not great with the database like I should be. I think I would be in an admin of rejects, but I think I'm at 56.
Okay, that's a lot of
I
shows.
saw a lot of shows prior to my son being born, my youngest.
That happens.
Yeah, because it just takes. He's 7 now, so I'm starting to see more. Got to go up to your neck of the woods, and see those shows, and that was great. That was fun.
Yeah, except for the rain on the
Yeah,
last one I went to. But
yeah, but it
we
was
had a
we
great
had a
time.
blast. So yeah, I saw a lot. I did a lot of solo stuff back in the day, and and then my wife, she's like, just go whenever you want to go. You can go. I don't care. I was like, cool. But
Okay, bye.
we'll have to be a dad too.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. So are you guys going to New Year's?
Not this time.
No.
I promised them that we were going to go on a cruise.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
going on a cruise for spring break. So I'm kind of like no Avetts at the beach or anything like that.
That's like the only two shows like on their
I
schedule right
know,
now,
man.
which is
Crazy.
it's
It'll
kind of
come around.
scary.
That's, I think you talked about that with Liz. It's like, I think there's like some, both sides of the fence, people kind of on that. But I think it's just that they've got growing families and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I mean I get
I
it.
mean, Scott's got school age kids, and
Yep.
Seth is probably his is getting up there now, and
Yeah,
almost in
he's
kindergarten. It's like
cool. He's like 8 years
you got
old.
to do
Something like
things.
that. Yep.
You got to slow down.
I get it, but I'm sure they will announce shows.
Oh,
That's
they will. I
yeah,
mean,
they have
I
to.
would imagine, from the couple conversations I've had with them and with Jim, and it's in your blood. It's not like you have to do it. It's like an itch you have to scratch.
Right. They're not just gonna stop. Like
Hope not.
I
It's
gosh,
gonna make our group kind of weird, huh?
oh my gosh, can you I mean I've only been to two shows. I gotta get more shows before they retire. I mean, I'm the same age as Scott. We're like he's like 3 months younger than me. So I mean, I know
I mean, yeah.
my family is now too. It's hard to do stuff. So I get why they're not, announcing stuff yet, but I really hope they keep going with the same
Oh,
schedule they've been.
I don't have any doubt that they won't. It's just, but I think you will see probably like maybe more space between shows.
That could be.
Yeah.
I
So
hope
that you
they
can
don't do
spend
as
more time at home.
I hope they don't do as more festival stuff and do more.
Yeah, I used to be a festival guy, but I've kind of gotten away from that. Not just so much the shorter set list, but just the whole. I mean, I'll be 49 in December, and it's like, man, I'm going to be out there for 10 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you got to
Yeah.
mingle with the fans of the other bands and stuff like that.
Or the talking over their set list. It's
Because
like,
they don't
dude.
care about your band, they were there to see their band, and I don't know that. And the shorter set list doesn't really bother me because even the last couple of festivals they played like almost 20 songs, I think, which
Yeah,
is still pretty good
yeah,
for that. But
yeah. That's the one thing that they, I mean, gosh, I've been to some great shows where they've just, you can tell they didn't have anything left when they left the stage. So
which is great, and they always put everything into it. And a new album will be coming early next year. Supposed to be
that's the
coming.
rumor, isn't it? That is the
I've heard
rumor.
Tanya was on my show and she told me they were working on recording stuff. So there's definitely music coming. But she didn't know any details other than that, or at least she
Yeah,
didn't share them with me. But
yeah.
looking
It's
forward to
kind
that.
of like I'm part of that I think the old guard. I think the first time I saw him was in '09 or 10. So it's like that whole transition to the full band sound
Yeah.
where they're exploring, like any artist would explore different sounds and different. I'm kind of a purist where I like the old stripped down stuff too.
Yeah.
So
Oh, of course. That's all
yeah.
the original stuff is great. I mean, I guess because I'm newer to the whole thing, I don't mind the new sound. Like the new
Oh, I
album,
love it. Don't get me wrong.
the
Yeah.
album I thought was great, and so many people complain about it, and I'm like, why though? It's great.
No,
Uh,
it's good. It's great. It's just it's different in that. But I mean, if you like any band, I mean, any artist that you probably listen to have changed
sure.
over time. But it's
That's
cool that
only
they still
natural.
go back to their roots too,
Yeah,
So
well, they definitely do. Anyway, they'll get back out there on the road. I'm sure I'll run into you down there or somewhere along the way at a
yeah,
show.
I plan on, I'm not getting any younger, so I plan on getting out there more now that he's getting a little bit older and being able to do what I used to do a little bit.
You Has he been to a show yet?
Nah, he didn't care.
Doesn't care. You don't think he'd
He's
like it?
7,
Yeah, well, right.
so
That is pretty young still.
he would rather, be on YouTube watching people play video games or something.
Right. That is so 2023, right? That's kids love doing that stuff. But then at night I'm sitting here watching YouTube, watching videos and stuff too. It's not video games, but I'm doing the same thing. So I guess I
But
can't say anything.
but it's
Uh,
weird to hear a 7-year-old like he came in yesterday and was like singing the entire "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" Tears for Fears. Like, why in the world would you know that? And "Sweet Dreams" by the Eurythmics, and I'm
sure.
like, but it's from those YouTube videos.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
like,
of course. He's not just hearing those songs
yeah,
randomly playing somewhere other than on YouTube. So what do you do for a living outside of being an admin on
yeah. So I've been
page?
an
Because I'm
HR
sure.
manager.
I'm
I've
sure
been
that
HR
pays the
manager
bills
for
and
a
all,
long
but
time.
what do you do? I'm sorry, I'm talking over you.
I've been an HR manager for quite a long time,
Okay.
and so is the wife. So it's kind of an HR household.
Whoa. Okay.
And
So your
yeah,
kids are
so
well
but
behaved, is it what you're saying?
the kids have no shot. Yeah. No. Um, excuse me. No, but I love it. I do. It's starting to where I want to transition to other things, hence this little side business that I'm kind of working on. I'm hoping to see that thing grow. And it's been fun so far. So
Let's talk about that because I mean, already we're running out of time. We got some time left, but I want to make sure to talk
sure.
about this. Tell me about the shop that you've started. I know you got some things changing with it that are coming up, but
Right.
about the
Yeah.
shop.
So I've always had this like creative itch. A lot of people know me because they get the stickers that I've made.
Do you draw all that stuff, or is
Oh
it a
man,
program you
I
use?
don't have any ability. It's all trial and error.
Your stuff's amazing though that you come up with.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that. It's just literally trial and error, learning things and screwing up a lot of other things, more things than you make. But I just, sorry, um, picked up on things, and that became something. I was like, I want to do this, and then I went and bought myself a hat press.
Nice.
And I started making my own hats. I was like, you know
Which
what?
I'm
I love
wearing
these.
one
And
of those right
yeah,
now.
yeah, cool. Thanks, man.
My
A
Martin
special
guitar hat.
request.
Love it.
And then people were like, hey, can you make one? Hey, can you make one? I was like, well, this is kind of fun. I started doing it and it really took off. I was making custom hats, sports, pop culture, movies, anything, beer, whiskey, bourbon's big here.
Yeah, right.
And started making a lot of that stuff. And I was like, so I just started, got my business license. It's banjo and stomp. Of course, it has like an Avet kind of tie to it, the banjo and then stomping of the boots and
Sure.
kind of deal. So I did that and started out on Etsy and eBay, just doing some stuff. And Etsy really took off, but it kind of pigeonholed me a little bit where I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of expanding into custom T-shirts and things like that. So
I
I'm
see
moving
you're the
over to a
go-to
shop.
guy for this stuff now.
I don't know if I'll get to that level. That's a big job, but I'm moving over to a Shopify store, and it's up and running now. You can actually go there now and purchase things, but
Oh.
it doesn't have my full catalog, full
So
inventory on it yet.
what's the difference between Shopify and Etsy? Because I have no clue.
Well, honestly, it saves me a little bit of funds and it gives me more flexibility to offer more different types of things.
Okay.
So it's not really its own site. It's just basically like a host. So,
Oh,
but I can tie into TikTok. I can tie into things a little bit easier,
oh, that's cool.
So,
Get your name
yeah.
out there. And
Yeah. So hopefully, with the Christmas season come along, but it should be fully operational.
so do you do this
Mine,
all by yourself? You're doing everything
yeah,
by yourself?
it's literally just in my free time. Yeah. Yeah.
What
So
happens if it blows up though at Christmas time? And are you going to be able to get stuff
I'm not
out?
going to be an HR manager anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you
No, I
imagine?
mean, I hope it does. Yeah, I'll have to recruit the family, I guess. But
Have your
there's been plenty of days.
7-year-old
I mean,
pressing hats? That sounds dangerous, but
the the Abbott community has really supported me, friends and stuff. So I mean, there's been days where I've shipped out 30 packages a day, which is
wow.
great. So, you know,
That's you put all the money you make into like saving up for going to shows and things like that.
now right now, I would say 70% of it's going back into the business.
Well, that's a way to grow it, right? Put the
Yeah,
money back
yeah.
into it.
But it's
That's
fun,
cool.
I mean, and hopefully I'll get to do some Avid inspired things here soon.
Are you working
Which,
on that? Like
yeah, I
with the
am.
band you're working on?
No, not yet. We
Oh,
haven't
okay.
got that far.
Oh, but
It'll
let's
be,
make that happen. Get with Jim.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully we can. I mean, that'll be a conversation, I guess, with Dolph and those guys. But
Right. Well, right.
but at least, rejects will be a big part of that. I think you're gonna see some rejects merchandise that I'm gonna try to do.
Nice.
And
Let's go.
and then you're gonna see some, kind of cool stuff, funny stuff, unique. I call them conversational hats and shirts and so
All right, so let's talk about this now while we're on the topic here. We're going to do a little giveaway with this episode.
yeah,
So I want
absolutely.
people to, I'm going to put a post up on the Avetts and Beyond Facebook page, promoting the show. But then when I post the link of the show for Mixcloud, I'm going to have people comment on there. But I want people to make sure they're following our page. You have to like the Avetts and Beyond page and then follow your page, which is it's Banjo and Stomp Apparel. Is that the right one? Or is it
Yes.
changed now? That is
The
the right
Facebook
one.
page. Yeah, though it's the same one. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to be following the Avetts and Beyond and the Banjo and Stomp apparel page, and then comment underneath "done" on that original post, and I'll post it and explain it all on there better. But then I'll do a random drawing again. We'll do a number generator, and someone's gonna
Yeah.
win something. What are we gonna give
Yeah,
away?
I'm gonna give out a $30 gift card. They pretty
Nice,
much can cover anything on the site.
cool,
And then and it doesn't expire, so you can wait. If you don't see something you like now, I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of more stuff coming on. But then
awesome.
I'm also, for your listeners, from now until the end of the month, if they use the code BEYOND,
Okay,
they can take an extra I think it's 25% off their purchase. So
wow, using the code Beyond. Look at that. We're going places here with this
and
show.
you can buy gift cards. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff on there. I really want to make this work. I hope it's something that people like, you know. And
Oh, it's gonna work. You've
but
got quite a following on there already. You're doing a great thing, and it's only gonna get better, it sounds like.
yeah,
So
it's not from a selfish standpoint. It's just a
right.
fun. It's a labor of love, and I like cool T-shirts. I like, you know, the soft vintage style T-shirts and the cool hats like you're wearing, and
Yeah.
you know, the one I have on, I think I made it. Yeah,
Well, it
yeah.
looks like one of your hats. Yep.
Mhm.
So I love my Richardson 112 hats. I love them. They're like the most
Yeah,
comfortable trucker hats out there.
yeah. I wore a UK one to a Kentucky one to the game the other night,
They
Tennessee
just fit
game.
so nice. They're perfect.
People were like, "Oh man, where can I get that?" I'm like, "Well, it's funny you should say that."
Yeah, you got business cards. Go to this website. So I'm also going to do this. If you share the episode from my Facebook page, like share it on your own page or whatever, we'll give you an extra entry into the contest. So you can get a couple entries on if you're liking following both pages and share it on your own page, we'll give you an extra entry. So you got a chance to win more than once, which is pretty cool. So all right.
Odds a peach.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what people come up with for that.
Yeah, you know, and like our Avid friends and people that listen, if there's something you're like, "Hey, I'd like to have this," just shoot me a message. You know, like you said, "Hey, I'd like to have a Martin hat."
Yeah,
I went out and we made it work.
yeah.
So
Within like a day, it was like, oh, okay.
and most of my stuff is like one-off stuff. I mean, it's not like you know you're going to see 40 people wearing the same thing. So you
Right.
might have that one thing. So
I may have a one of one where on
you
my head
do.
right
You
now.
have a one of one right now.
One of one. All right. So when we still haven't really talked about the Avid brothers here too much, which is great. I knew this was going to happen because we got so much to talk about otherwise. When did you discover the Avets and their music? Where do you remember where you were? And like the
Yeah,
first song
yeah.
you heard and all that stuff?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I do. I had came out of it like probably a lot of people. I actually came out of a divorce and was kind of like, you know, on your own. I started getting into a lot of singer-songwriter
Mm,
music. And I was like, back then it was like I was into like, you know, of course Dave Matthews had always been a part. And then you had like Jason Mraz and those guys, Jack Johnson. And
yeah, yeah.
I think someone said, "Hey, there's these guys out of North Carolina. I just saw them busking or whatever you call it, outside of the Grand Ole Opry in
Feel you.
Nashville." And I was like, "Really?" And they're really cool. I bought one of their mixtapes.
Wow.
And I was like, "All right, I'll take a listen." And that was probably they'd already had some stuff out by the time I started listening. I started listening to them probably in '06.
Wow. You're
And
like an OG fan.
and then I think the first song that I really got into was I really liked probably Traveling Song and like November Blue.
Nice.
Those are the ones that kind of caught me. And then as I went through that divorce, it was kind of like, you know, it was more like a therapy thing. I found something I actually really enjoyed. And I was, you know, I'm not afraid to say, you know, your mental health state and lonely. And I was like, now I found this band of people that I can just show up and we all hang out. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
You have family all the time
right.
on here. It's
So it was cool,
supports
man. It
each
was like
other, which
therapy
is
for
cool.
me. They literally were like they always have that there's that sign of Seth, like your music saved my life. I'm not saying it saved my life, but it got me back on the train.
It's funny. I can say the same thing for the time when I started listening. It was a life changing
Yeah.
when I started listening. It really was, and it's crazy, but it's awesome all at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it doesn't matter what you listen to. I hope that someone finds that same feeling in music or
right.
something, you know. So
Well, there's someone that has that same feeling about like Megadeth or something
sure.
like that. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
music is so like people say, "Oh, it's my favorite band," and people are like, "Oh, I hate them." How can you think that? music's subjective. I mean,
Oh
yeah, you
yeah.
can't say
Yeah.
you hate anyone because it's someone you hate is
Yeah,
someone
I
else's
was talking I
favorite.
was talking to my 19-year-old daughter today, I was like, I don't get the whole Swift thing, the Swifty thing, but she's amazing.
She
Even though I'm
is.
not really into the music, she's a cool woman.
Yeah, I don't need to listen to her music
Yeah,
to know that she's a great person and has inspired tons of girls. That's incredible.
absolutely.
I have daughters,
Exactly.
and they are both fans. And hey, who am I to judge that? That's great. It's great. I
Yeah.
don't care about Travis Kelsey and all that stuff. We
Unless
have,
he's on your fantasy team, right?
yeah, right. He's not on my fantasy team. It's okay. We have it under 8 minutes left already. So
Okay.
let's quickly now talk about the songs you picked. Now you picked 6 songs, but I think I'm gonna start
Yeah, I
the
didn't go the
episode.
Liz route. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do six because
Yeah,
I
she
don't
gave
want
me
Todd
like
to get mad
20
at me.
songs. I'm gonna start the episode off, I think, with that November Blue that you posted today, your favorite version from 2006 at
Oh,
Pickathon,
I love that.
just
Yeah.
because it's the
Yeah.
beginning of November and it's the perfect
Sure.
song to start off November with. So I'm gonna
That's a
start
great
with
one.
that, and I think we'll be able to get to all the other ones you have too. But tell me the songs you picked and why you picked them.
All
Do you have
right.
your
So the
list in front of
non-Avid, or
you?
you want me to start with the Avid? Yeah. Do you want me to start with the Avid or the non-Avid?
Or whatever you want.
Okay.
You
Well,
just
my
go
Avid
back and forth
songs,
or whatever you want.
Please Pardon Yourself has always been my favorite Avid song.
Okay.
That's something that Gantz and I share. We just I don't know if it's the beat, it's the flow of the song. I just love it. I absolutely love that song, and to get it live is just awesome. So, uh,
It's a great song.
especially when they're around the one condenser mic, doing it. So,
Yeah.
Me and God kind of, I latched on to Me and God because I grew up in the South, and the South is all, Bible Belt, religion.
Hmm.
You go to church. If you don't, you go to hell, kind of deal. And I never felt that, and I was always confused, like something was wrong with me.
Mm,
So Me and God really spoke to me, like, it's like it's not about, it's like him and I, or him and my higher power, have our own thing going on.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So my faith is different. I really don't get into the organized as much, and that's fine. I love that people do.
There's
So,
nothing wrong with that, right?
but and then the other one, The Weight of Lies, I don't know. I just think the message in that song is so powerful. I mean, it's just like it doesn't matter where you go, you can't get away from. You got to stick with the truth, you know.
Right. Yep.
So,
That,
so yeah,
have
those are
you
my
ever
Avid
read
songs. Probably.
have you read Slammed by Colleen Hoover? Have you?
I just picked it up about a week and a half ago. I'm not gonna lie. So,
Well, that's funny because I'm not a reader. Like I collect books and I love
yeah,
books, but I have ADD, so I can't just sit there and read.
it's kind of
Um,
my problem.
so
Yeah.
I listened to the audiobook and I've been listening to it. And there's that whole book is like basically about the Avett brothers. It's like a theme, the
Sure.
Avett brothers are
Yeah.
in there. And she talks about the main character talks about the weight of lies and explains, the meaning of it. And it's funny when they described it, it's like it hit me different, like, oh, that you know what, she's right. I thought it was about something else, but it's really about everything.
Yeah.
And
And maybe it means something different to me. Maybe I'm
right,
off base there, but
true.
it just feels like, that stuff's gonna pile up on you.
Yep.
And you can run and run and run, as the song says, but
Well, that's the great thing
yeah.
about music.
So
The subjectiveness of music is songs can mean different things to different people.
sure, sure, yeah.
All
Now
right.
my non-Avid songs, a lot like Liz, I'm a huge Tom Petty fan.
Nice.
So it was cool to hear her talk about her Tom Petty um stuff. But yeah, Southern accents, again, it kind of ties into where I'm from. Because we get that, I'm in Kentucky. Oh, look, you don't have shoes on. Oh, you didn't go to school. The whole, oh, that's your cousin. Whatever. We've heard all the jokes.
I'm
But
not
it's
making
kind of
any
like,
jokes.
the Southern accent doesn't mean you're dumb. It's just a drawl that we have.
I love the Southern
So,
accent. I could listen to you talk all day.
thank you.
What do you think about
So
Northern
yeah, I
people's
really like that
accents?
song. That means a lot to me. That song.
What do you think about
And
accents? Not to interrupt you, but I need to know what people in the South think of
oh,
people from the North because I don't think I have an accent, but I must.
oh yeah, you definitely have an accent, Todd. You mean you don't have that New England accent? You don't have that
No,
Boston.
no,
You're
I'm
not,
Central New
your
York. It's
cocky, your cockies or anything like that. But no, you have. I mean, you. I'll say this: the Southern accent, because it's the drawl.
yeah.
We struggle with pronunciation, unlike you do, Todd. Everything you say is very clear.
Well, that partially comes from being in radio for 20 years. Like it was kind of beat into my head in school and
We'll
stuff.
put it this way. I used to be with the Red
Pronunciation.
Cross.
Yeah.
I worked a long time with the Red Cross, and I had a friend of mine who was a disaster manager who was from a really rural part of the state here in Kentucky. And we'd be in California for like a wildfire or something. And I'd be like, don't worry, I'll translate. I speak Icanese. Don't worry.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
So yeah, other
Give me your
songs.
other
Yeah.
songs. Give me your other
So
songs.
times like these, especially the acoustic version of the
Love
Foo
it.
Fighters, I'm a big
Yeah.
Dave Grohl fan. I
Yeah,
was
me too.
fortunate enough to see Nirvana back early in the day, and
That's cool.
really latched on. I just the message in that song has always been powerful to me. You know, just it's really about just living a good life.
Mhm.
And then my all-time favorite band is Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
So I posted that in Rejects the other day. How much would you pay for a concert ticket? I think that's the only concert, if they reunited, I would probably empty my bank account for.
Nice.
but
Nice.
but over the hills and far away has always been my favorite. It just gets me the slow intro and then bam.
Love it. You
Yeah.
know that's my favorite Zeppelin song too. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. So we got some
Yeah.
good
So
music here for the
I love
episode.
Zeppelin, and it was hard picking 6 though. So I understand I could have picked 40. So
You could have done, yeah, like Liz and say, here's a whole bunch of songs, just pick some. But I
right.
appreciate you narrowing it down to 6. That makes it a lot easier for me. And like I said, I'm going to start it off with November Blue, if you don't mind, just because
Hey, you know, I'm gonna
it's the perfect
it's
song to
amazing.
start off the month of November with. So,
It
and
would
that
have probably
version's
been number
awesome.
7.
What's that?
I love that version. I said it probably would have been number 7 on the list. So
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, it's going to be number 1 because it's going to lead the show off this time. So,
cool, man. This has
all
been
right.
fun, man.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for coming on. I have 4 pages of questions here. And I think we just chit-chatted, and that's what it's all about.
Hey, if you ever want to do a part 2, I'm up.
Let's
So,
do it sometime. I would love to do
but
that.
I really appreciate your influence in Rejects. I mean, it doesn't go unnoticed as I speak for the other admins. I mean, you're a very positive, force in the group. So we appreciate that.
That's
Anything we
awesome
can do
to
to help anything we can do to help build your show. So
wow, that's really cool. I really appreciate that. You kind of just blew my mind a little bit there. I love doing it.
it's cool,
I
man.
feel
This is a
like
really
I've
cool
been a
thing you're
part of
doing.
I feel like I've been part of the group forever, and it's only been a couple of years, and it's really cool. And I've gotten to meet most of the people that I interact with all the time, which is great too. So,
Well, just remember, like I told you the other day, I think, Gance is the pretty face
yeah,
of the group. I'm the class clown, and then the women just kind of keep it all rolling in line,
yeah,
So
that's what
don't let anyone think that Michael Gance runs the show, because that is the farthest thing from the truth. He's just there to wave the sign out on the street corner.
Nice. He's that guy. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get cut off here any second. So thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
buddy.
I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.